Hey friends, it's Simon Hurley from INKLIPSE and welcome to today's release video. I'm so excited about this. I actually already just live streamed it and the live stream unfortunately kept cutting in and out, but all of you guys in there were giving the release so much support and I'm so thankful. But if you guys are kind of catching the release later tonight with this video, I hope you really enjoyed this release and embrace it as much as I have. I always say that I love the newest release the most. I always kind of grow in my design process and I'm having so much fun creating with this one. So I can't wait to share more projects, but in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the different products and kind of explain why I created them. And then I'll show some card samples. So let's get into it. There's not going to be any cutting in and out this time because we're recording instead of doing a live stream. Okay. So let's start off with the first stamp set. I am so excited about this one. It's called Cakewalk, and it's got lots of versatility to it. So this is one of our first birthday stamp sets that we've created, and I'm in love with it. So it has Artie the bear on it, and one thing that I do with my stamp sets is these are 6x9 stamp sets, so they're nice and large. And this is the size of a card base, right? And so I make the images pretty large so that you don't need to use all of the images on one set to make a focal point, right? I like to just have to use one or two images to make a nice focal point on your card, which I love. So you've got an ice cream cone, a cupcake, the bear, birthday cake, and the present. So the bear can be holding any of these awesome sweet treats, and then you can kind of stamp those together. So just mask off his arms with a little bit of tape and then stamp one of those down. Another option is to also use some of these little faces and arms and legs to stamp onto these little sweet treats and make them kind of more fun and playful. So I'll share that later when I share all the card examples as well. And then you just have some fun sentiments like have a very good birthday, life is a cakewalk with you as my friend, you're so sweet, you're how old? You want a piece of me, which I think is hilarious, happy birthday, surprise, you melt my heart, and then happy birthday in a different kind of more type font. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Let's get lit and have your cake and eat it too. And then there's lots of different things you can add on top, like you can add sprinkles to the cupcake or the ice cream cone. You can add little lines to the cupcake here. So lots of little details you can add in. But I love the versatility of this set and how you can kind of make it more playful or make it a little bit more simple and clean with just these and not add faces to them. So you don't need to make it super playful if you don't want. Awesome. Now let's go into the next thing. Now, this is another one of our peel apart background stamps. And I have to say, thank you so much for embracing this idea when I first came out with it. We've released lots more peel apart background stamps and they will keep coming since you guys have been loving them so much. So always show your love and support when you love something because then Ranger knows and they'll keep kind of helping me put the resources together to create it, which I really appreciate. So this is the new Party Hats peel apart background stamp. And it's got all these fun hand-drawn party hats in here, which I just love this. But we also made it, like I said, peel apart. So all of these little hats can come out, and I think you get one of each one of the designs that I drew, which I think is awesome. And the reason I wanted this is for a couple different things, right? If you wanted to stamp rows of these on a card and then kind of make an interlocking pattern and do them in all different colors, this is a good way to do so, right? So I love that. Another way you can use these is, you know, if you have little critters, there's lots of little critters in my line, you can add little hats on top of them, right? So stamping these out and having these birthday hats kind of all together in one stamp is really awesome. And then of course, they all fit back together. We made sure that all the cuts were exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter where you put it in, they're gonna all fit into each other's little slots. And what I like to say about these is especially if like the images are kind of in the center, if you're having a hard time getting it to push down and all fit, just bend the rubber a little bit and it'll go right back into the others. And of course, you can stamp this as a full background, which is kind of the joy of these peel apart background stamps is you can puzzle them back together and use the full background or pull them apart and use just the hats. So it really makes it almost like you get a whole nother stamp set along with your background stamp. So I'm really excited about this one. I love it so much. Okay, now next, again, this is another thing that you guys have really embraced and I'm loving that. So this stencil is called the Cake Maker Stencil. We've had so much fun with this and I'll actually show you an example right now because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see what this is gonna be like in its package. So with this, you get the maker stencil that makes the cakes and you also have this mask as well with it. So this just comes off, it's attached by a little sticker. Keep it along with your stencil. You can keep it in the pouch there with it so that you can store it all together. And so it has a cake stand, cake, and then some designs you can add in here. So you can either do a double layer or a single layer, and there's lots of cool designs. You can make it kind of drippy, make it more of a wedding cake, lines and different things like that you can add. There's a little cherry and some candles as well. And so I wanted to share this, some of the examples. So here, of course, you can put any one of them on a cake stand. So here's kind of like a finished cake, but I wanted to show all the different ways you can add on designs onto your cakes once it's all complete. So I'm in love with this stencil. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it too. It's the perfect size for a focal point on an A2 sized 4 1/4 by 5.5 card base, and I just love it. And it's more of a kind of graphic style than all of the hand-drawn stuff. It's still in my really awesome, I kind of designed these and then we went over them, and the awesome design team kind of took my drawings and really brought them to life, which I think was so awesome with this. So yeah, big thank you for that amazing layering stencil. And of course, there's examples on the back too, so it helps you kind of layer everything all together. Awesome. Let's get into the next photopolymer stamp set. This one is called Road Trip, and I love this stamp set. It's got some really awesome images in it. This was actually, it was one of the first stamp sets that I drew when I started my line. And I had the car and I had the airplane. And I was like, what do I use to kind of finish this off? And so I've added lots of graphic images in here to finish the whole thing. And this doesn't have to be just for a vacation. I've got we've moved, see you soon, I'm only one trip away, miss you. So it can really be for all different occasions, which I think is awesome as well. So if someone's moving away or you want to come visit them, this is a good card to send. So, right, we have this fun car, and of course Artie is driving with his little giraffe and dog in the back seat. I just thought that was adorable. And of course, these fit really nicely as a focal point onto an A2 size card, which I think is awesome. Then we have some of my handwriting, which let the adventure begin, miss you, I'm only one trip away. I love this one, are we there yet? In a speech bubble. And then some different ones like we will miss you, road trip, we've moved, see you soon, and sending sunshine and hugs. And this one is really cool because you have this really big, bold, graphic sun. One thing that a lot of people were asking for is images you don't always have to color in. I love this one, you'll see it in some card examples. And then I did this too, just in case if you want to stamp that inside and make it a little bit darker. Or you could use this as kind of a seal on an envelope, which I think is so much fun. We of course have a palm tree here, and images to fill in the palm tree with color with your inks. And then this adorable little bird flying his little airplane with the little pig in the back, and then some suitcases as well. So I love this one. We got some fun images to color in, and also some more graphic images you can just stamp on your card, which I think is so cool. So I love this one, and I'm gonna get lots of use out of it for sure. I can't wait to show you guys the examples at the end. I think they really turned out awesome. So this background stamp is called Luau, and I just love this one. It reminds me of kind of like a, almost like Hawaiian button-up kind of dress shirt. I think those are so much fun. And so that's why I wanted to create this. And of course, this can really work alongside of this. If you stamp it tone on tone, you can create more of a tropical background. I just love these kind of graphic floral backgrounds. They really create an awesome look on your card. And I wanted to show you guys too. You could totally use it with Surf's Up too. And this is a set we released in October. Mine is nice and stained because I've been using it a lot. But look, this design here on the surfboard is this guy. We just changed it up a little bit. I made these so you can color them in a lot easier. And then I love this gridded background in the background of the stamp. So of course this one doesn't peel apart because the grid is so close to the flowers, but that doesn't mean you can't cut it out afterwards. So I'll show that in just a second. You can easily cut out these flowers and get some really awesome looks like that too. But this background is so much fun. I love it. Okay, now this next stencil. There's a lot of companies that release kind of like scene making stencils. You have some cloud stencils, grass stencils, different things like that, but you have to buy them all separately. And I don't know why buying 5 different stencils to make a background sounds like a good idea. So I wanted to incorporate them all in one and call it the Scene Maker stencil. And so you could really use this stencil to make all different types of scenes on your card making project, which I think is so cool. So let's turn down to my work surface again, and I'm going to kind of show the stencil. So it comes with lots of masks. Like I said, I love to do that. So they're all attached by little stickers here. You can peel them out, and then you have masks along with it. That's really important for this mountain because if you wanted to add a sun kind of peeking into the mountain, you could use this to mask off your already ink blended mountain. So we have grass, clouds, or waves, kind of like a little bit of a, like a sloped hill, just a tiny slope. and then a nice big mountainside here. And then I also included a sun, a moon, stars, clouds, and 2 little birds. And we used this space in the middle of the stencil because we didn't want to just waste all that space, right? So we wanted to give you the best value for your money. And so if you do want to, you can tape off the edges, but I don't find it super necessary. We left enough room in here where you can go in and blend pretty easily without having to mask things off. So I'll show you the stencil. Let me grab it here with it already having the mask out of it so you can really see that nice and clearly. So all that awesome detail in there. And I'll show probably how to use this at the end. Now I want to show you the example just like I did for the cake maker stencil, because I think seeing these stencils kind of in action with the different scenes you can create with them really show them off better than just the package does. And of course, there is different examples on the package as well to kind of show you how to put those together. But this is the first thing I did, blending this out after I first got the stencil. I absolutely love how it's all completed. And yes, I know that when people or brands create these stencils, they do 4 different sides so you can make them all look really different. But if you look in here, by flipping around the stencil and moving it, all the clouds look nice and different, which I think is so cool. So you really don't need all the different stencils. One is going to do it, and you can create lots of different scenes with it. And you'll see me use this later in some of the examples too in different ways. Now, I want to give this next one a little bit of an introduction. You guys have absolutely loved my Dudes 2 stamp set. And I thank you guys so much. When I first drew this in my first release, I was a little bit nervous to release it to the market because there wasn't anything really like this one. It was very different than anything that we had before, right? I wanted a stamp set for guys that you can, of course, interchange the heads and bodies and make it look like whoever you're giving the card to, and then also give little images to kind of dress them up and give them a little bit more personality and make it look like whoever you're sending it to, which I think is awesome. And so this stamp set you guys have embraced so much, and like I said, when you guys love something, we want to share more of it. And so, of course, we've been continuing this. We have the Surf's Up stamp set too, with the dudes and the dudette surfing as well. So we've got a little girl face in here, and I'll come back to that in just a second too. You could really interchange the heads and bodies because we made all these sets interchangeable and the same size, which I think is really great. So after that, you guys have been asking for a certain theme, and I've finally bringing it to you guys. And there will be lots more like this coming soon. If you guys enjoy this one, but this one is called Home Run, and I'm so excited about it. So what's cool about this stamp set is we have a head in here. This is a guy's head with his little hat on, and of course you can add that on different bodies if you want to from the other sets. And I also included a little ponytail. There wasn't enough room to create lots of different heads in this set because I wanted lots of baseball themed images, but if you stamp this ponytail on the side, you can make it look like a girl as well playing baseball. But another thing you could do, and I'll show you this in an example later, since they're all the same size, you can use this girl's head in here and stamp it down with the baseball set. So it's kind of fun to collect them all because then you can really grab a head that looks like whoever you're giving the card to. And of course you could add any of the dudes' 2 heads in here as well, which I think is so much fun. So 2 different bodies, one up to bat and one kind of catching or pitching or anything like that. Then we have Thanks Coach. So this is going to be a really great stamp set for you to give to coaches of your son or daughter who plays baseball or softball. And that's why I wanted to create this. My grandpa also loves playing baseball, and so being able to give him a themed card that's perfect for him, I think is awesome. So we have thank you in a larger font, so that's going to be kind of more of a focal point. You're a catch, happy birthday slugger, home run, catch you later, I glove you, and thanks for pitching in. And then some other images like, of course, this iconic glove and ball. We have a baseball bat and the actual baseball or softball. And then I did kind of like a mound, so you can do like a pitcher's mound, and then a home base and a nice kind of fence, like a chain link fence. And the cool part about this is we didn't want to make a whole 6x6 background. This actually can be repeated all across the card, and you'll see that in an example. So I really hope you guys love this set as much as I have. I've already had so much fun creating with it, but there will probably be more in this sports kind of theme because I love this. I love that you guys love it so much, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this one. And for all of you kids or people who have kids that play baseball, this is going to be a really great set for them, which I love. All right, so now that we've shown all the release, I hope you guys really love it. There is a link down below to go shopping if you want to stop here, and you can check out all of the products in the release. I'm so excited about this one, and I can't wait to see what you guys all do with it. But I, of course, want to show what I've kind of created with the release in no particular order. So let's turn back down and let's get into kind of what I created. So let's start off with this one here. There's not really in an order, so I'll just point out what products are what. So this is from the road trip stamp set. I absolutely love that. I just colored it in with some of my inks. And then here I used the scene maker to create this fun cloud background and trace the edges and cut those out too. So I just love this one and how that turned out. Now this next one also uses the scene maker stencil, and all I did was make a more sophisticated card. So I blended the sun and some of the clouds and also kind of a rainbow cloudy background to do this, and then I stamped down "We Will Miss You" from the road trip stamp set. So a more serious, maybe sympathy, sophisticated card, which I love. Now this next one is using the baseball stamp set. I told you guys you're gonna love this one. It is so much fun to create with. So here is the guy playing baseball here, ready to hit that baseball. And then of course I stamped down that background from the chain link fence twice. I heat embossed it and did some watercolor with my inks in the background. And then I stamped down "Happy Birthday Slugger." It's a simple card, but I love how graphic it is. And I love this one. Now this one is super cool. This might be one of my favorite cards I've created from this release. So I used the Luau background stamp, and I stamped the center of the background stamp. It's 6x6, so there was a little bit excess on each side. I stamped the center down in here, and there was lots of kind of intersecting flowers on this edge. So I cut down using a trimmer, but I left any areas where there was like petals or flowers sticking out, and then I cut that so that it would be interlocking as it kind of created. So it creates this cool gatefold card that interlocks together when you fold it. And I just took out some inks from my line and watercolored this all in, and I absolutely love how it turned out. This card is one of my favorites I've created in a long time. I just love how graphic and bold this background is. Alright, so let's go in here. This one is using the Cakewalk stamp set. And like I said, I love Artie in this stamp set because you can create these really fun scenes with him holding the birthday cake or the cupcake or ice cream cone or present or whatever. You could even grab some images from other sets and make him hold different stuff. But I love this for the birthday, have a very good birthday. And then I used the bubble wrap stencil from my latest Mother's Day release to ink blend the background there. And I just love how this one turned out. So feel free to incorporate your older products with your new ones. They never will go out, you know. We always will make products that kind of coordinate along with them. And you can always incorporate your old stuff or your products you've already bought with the new stuff, which I just love. You know, your products never go bad, which I love. This one is from the road trip stamp set, and it's more of a graphic card, which I just love. Again, you don't have to create a super playful card with my products. This one's more bold and graphic, and I just love it. So I stamped down some of the palm trees with my inks here and some pigment ink because it's on a darker color cardstock, and then my inks on top. And then I stamped down the Sending Sunshine and Hugs, which I just think is so cool there, and a really bold graphic look for the card. Now this next one's pretty simple. All I did was kind of stamp down the party hats background in rainbow assortment of colors. And then I grabbed in some water and blended out some of my inks to kind of watercolor it out just because I can't really help myself sometimes. And then I stamped down the present and happy birthday from the Cakewalk stamp set. So again, you can make it more sophisticated if you want to by not adding any faces, and you can create some really cool cards like that. This next one is, again, one of my favorites. This whole release is just so versatile. There's so many different uses for it, and I love this one for a different road trip. So I stamped down this car from the road trip stamp set and colored that in with some of my inks, and then I used the scene maker stencil to create this cool background. So I did, you know, some hills, some mountains, some grass, and then this cool cloudy and sunny scene in the background, which I just think is awesome. It's really quick to put together these scenes, but now with a lot of my stamp sets, since we have a lot that work along with grass and different sky scenes, this is going to be a stencil you get so much use out of, which I love. This next one is using the Cake Maker stencil, and you know, I keep saying it, but these are some of my favorite cards I've created in a long time. So I blended out the cake, I did the drips on it, and then I embossed that. But of course you could use texture paste or anything like that with this fun kind of drip or any of the designs you put on your cake. And then I used the Cakewalk stamp set to do my sentiments here, and I used the party hats in the background. After blending, I stamped the party hats down with water to get more of a bleeded look, which I think is so fun. This one is so playful, and I just think it's hilarious. My friend was like, you know, those faces are kind of creepy on there, but she loved it after I created this fun card here. So, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream is one of my favorite sentiments from the set. But then I stamped down the ice cream cone and the cupcake here, and then I added sprinkles down and watercolored this all in using my inks. and then just stamp down some of the faces and different arms you can add on to those images. So again, you can do it really playful like this, or leave out those faces and arms and make it more simple and realistic, which I love. Now this next one is using that Surf's Up stamp set, that girl's head from the Surf's Up stamp set, to create an awesome girl baseball or softball player, which I think is so much fun. So again, the Scene Maker stencil comes in handy when you're doing stuff like this. I absolutely love how it looks. And then I stamped down her, colored her in with a cool kind of pink striped uniform and some of my inks. And I am in love with how this one turned out. Maybe we'll have to give it to Mama Hurley for her birthday. Awesome. So then I love this one too. This is using the hibiscus or luau background stamp, and I love just coloring this in with my inks. And like I said, just because the stamp doesn't peel apart doesn't mean you can't cut the images apart after you're done stamping them. So I just cut those apart after coloring them all in with my inks, and then you can create kind of a cool floral scene on your card, which I think is awesome. And again, I always encourage you guys to use your products you've already purchased in the past with your new stuff. So this is the Painted Lines background stamp, and this is the Encouraging Words stamp set, and I just love how this all came together to create this really fun hibiscus card, and it's just so beautiful. You guys might get a little bit mad at me for keep repeating how much I love this release, but I think it's always so cool that we're growing each release that we create, because there's always lots of new stuff. You can incorporate with the old stuff, and it just makes the line so much more versatile. So these maker stencils really add a ton. I'm so glad to finally have a birthday stamp set too, and I know you guys are gonna have so much fun with these. So I just hit the tip of the iceberg with these samples and examples of my cards, but I know you guys are going to create some really awesome stuff with it. So again, there's links down below to go shopping if you want to check out anything from this release. I think you guys are going to love it as much as I do. I've had so much fun creating with this release already, and I'll definitely be uploading more videos sharing more about this. Now, I wanted to also talk about something that we're doing, that's going on with the Simon Hurley Create line and Ranger. So basically, we're doing a bingo game. And the whole theme of Simon Hurley Create is kind of, you were created to create. Because I always believe, everybody was created to create something different. If you're an engineer, you're more numbers oriented, but everybody's got a different talent and skill. And a lot of people are very creative, but they kind of put themselves down. And so with this challenge, we wanted to challenge you guys to do different themes each month. And so if you go to my website, I'll have a link down below that just says Simon Hurley Create Bingo. And it'll lead you to the page where you can download this bingo board for free, and you can download the template with all the different prompts on it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to fill out your board with the different prompts that you want, kind of randomize it, and choose from the list of 36. And then you can decorate your board however you want. My mom colored this one in, and I absolutely love how it looks. And then each month, on the second Friday of each month, so in 2 days coming up here, we're going to announce 2 themes for that month. And whether or not they're on your bingo board, we want you to create with those 2 themes. Now, if they're on your bingo board, go ahead and cross them off. If they're not, we still encourage you to create with those 2 themes, because really this challenge is just all about getting creative and encouraging creativity. And of course, we do want the focus of the card or project or scrapbook page or whatever you create. You can really create anything with this to be Simon Hurley Create products, but of course incorporate your other projects too. We just want to see you guys getting creative on the challenge. And so post this stuff on social media with a public account. Your account has to be public because we have to see your posts using SH Created to Create. And we are going to be so excited to see all of your projects. And each month, we will choose some winners to win some Simon Hurley Create supplies out of the participants. And then we'll be adding in some bingo winners as well, randomly selected from the people who are winning. So this is an awesome challenge that I'm really excited about. And I hope you guys will join us along in that too. So I just wanted to mention that at the end of this video, in case if you guys want to join. If you want to purchase some products to participate, you don't need to have a ton of stuff, but we do want the focal of a lot of the cards and scrapbook pages. Like I said, whatever you create, however you want to get creative, to be Simon Hurley Create stuff, because we want to see your creativity with it. Also, I do have an online class, so I'll leave a link down below to that too. I had a lot of fun filming it. It's more like an in-person hour-and-a-half class where we sit down together and make 4 cards. It was a lot of fun to create. Of course, you don't need all the products that I use. You can switch out lots of the design products for stuff you already have, and the class is tons of fun. So I'll leave a link down below to that as well. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have a wonderful and awesome day. I wish I was able to keep the live stream up, but YouTube was kind of bad. It wasn't YouTube, it was my Wi-Fi. It was bad. It's been bad lately. A rodent ate one of the wires, so I blame it on that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day and love this release as much as I do. Thanks, guys. Bye.